morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Xa Talk Show. Today is 2020 August. Oh, not August anymore. Today is September 3rd, 9 o'clock in the morning, San Francisco time. So today we are going to talk about keyboards. Good morning, Alan. Good morning, Sergio. Chrome kept crashing. Chrome has been crashing for the past 10 minutes. So I'm not sure what am I going to do. Chrome kept crashing, and I guess I'm still alive. It's still streaming. So today I'm going to talk about keyboards, the history of laptop keyboards, the evolution of laptop keyboards. And by the way, I like to mention today at 1 o'clock, which is about 4 hours from now, there is a online meetup for Emacs. Okay? So there's online meetup for Emacs. Am I still alive? Yes, I am. Good morning, Cortez. So I'm okay. I'm doing okay, guys. Shit, Chrome kept crashing. I'm not sure what's going on. I have to restart my machine, I guess. Fucking modern technology. Fuck. So anyway, Emacs meetup. Okay, 1 o'clock. Just search for Emacs San Francisco. Search for Emacs meetup San Francisco. It's a online meetup in about 4 hours, and I'm probably going to be there. So today I'm going to talk about the history, the evolution of laptop keyboards. Now let's try one more time to get the Google Chrome browser going. The Google Chrome browser. Okay, because otherwise I cannot see the comments. Okay, I'm just going to start talking then maybe I'll have to restart my machine later on. I don't know. So laptop keyboards, okay, the evolution of laptop keyboards, fantastic topics. Okay, let me tell you. So starting with ThinkPad. Now ThinkPad is the classic, the most respected laptop, beginning in 1992. So ThinkPad from IBM ThinkPad. They got bought by a Chinese company, Lenovo. How do you pronounce it? Lenovo. In 2005, Chinese is taking over. So, but anyway, 1992 IBM ThinkPad is the most respected laptop, the highest build quality. And the IBM ThinkPad keyboard, a lot of nerds love it because they grew up with it. That's one thing, but it's also the highest quality. Now, in the beginning, you can see here's a picture of the ThinkPad keyboard. The keys, what keys are there? What is the layout? In the beginning, in 1992, they are basically a copy, almost exactly the same of a full IBM PC Model M keyboard. So you can see every key is there. You got the arrow keys, you got Control and Alt. There is no Windows key back then. Windows key didn't get introduced until 2003 or so. I'll talk about it. So where does the Windows key came from? Well, Microsoft invented it, beginning in 2002, beginning in 1994, with this Microsoft Natural keyboard. And this is, I'm going to tell you, Microsoft is actually the innovator of keyboards. So in the past 30 years, Microsoft has introduced quite a few innovations to keyboard. And some of them are subtle. In the past 10 years, you don't know. I'm pretty sure you don't know yet. You don't know them. But I'm going to tell you, okay? Okay, finally, the Google Chrome is running. So good morning, Jaguar. Hexa, good morning from Peru. Yes, Peru. Great to see you again. And from Sergio from Mexico, and Bart from Germany, and Alderio from Hello World, Alan from the sunny California, ThinkPad Nation. So okay, so let me talk about a ThinkPad keyboard. So post your questions and comments, okay? So ThinkPad keyboard is the great keyboard for the laptop keyboard. So in the beginning, everything, the layout is basically just a copy. You grab the full IBM Model M keyboard and put it on a smaller space laptop. So you also have all the keys. You have keys like print screen, pause, number lock, and scroll lock. Those are kind of defunct keys even back in 1990s. So you have and you have full array of function keys. And one thing interesting about IBM ThinkPad keyboards is that you have this Trackpoint. This Trackpoint. Actually, Trackpoint is a inferior device. Okay, it's inferior to mouse, and it is also inferior to trackpad. On a mouse or on a trackpad, you can get to places much faster than the Trackpoint, and that is scientifically verified. Because if you go to Wikipedia, you go to the article Trackpoint, there's actually a study where they say the trackpad is actually superior than Trackpoint. Trackpoint is basically just like a joystick kind of, and so it has been experimentally verified, confirmed. Okay, Trackpoint is a inferior device, but however, there are quite a few nerds. They will tell you, "Oh, Trackpoint is the best thing." They are actually wrong, because these things can be tested easily. You have a group of people using trackpad or another group using Trackpoint. You'll find that the people using trackpad is just faster than you. Okay. But anyway, Trackpoint, it's interesting device and experimentally confirmed to be slower. However, there's also a theoretical reason why Trackpoint is inferior. That reason is with a mouse or trackpad, you have instantaneous variable speed. That is the acceleration, the speed. You can move slowly or fast in any variation of speed you want in a continuous change of speed. On the Trackpoint, you cannot do that. So on trackpad, for example, look at my mouse. I can move slowly or I can move quickly, very fast. Same thing with trackpad. Not so with Trackpoint, because it's a. And the reason for that, the theoretical reason for that is that, well, it's because of the mechanism. A Trackpoint is just 4 directions, not much more than that. Meanwhile, on a trackpad or a mouse, you can. How do I explain this? How do I explain the continuous variable speed control from the mechanics point of view? How do I explain that in terms of mechanics? It's hard to explain. I'm not sure what's the logical way to explain that. But anyway, Trackpoint. Okay, many people love it. It's a code. It's what you call a subcode. So anyway, IBM. So the ThinkPad keyboard in 1998 they had a upgrade. So this is the ThinkPad 1998. They introduced the application launcher keys. For example, launching the email or search the web, or launching your home directory, or launching your home directory in a browser. Back then in a browser you have a home directory. Basically, it's a page you want to go to. And the email key, and document key. So you press this button, you'll open your document folder. So this is in 2000. This is in 1998 to 2001. You have these launcher keys. By the way, during that time, around year 2000, these keys are popular. You can see on lots of keyboards because back then Now this is when the onset of the web, the internet becoming popular, beginning to have internet. And then they also added the Windows key and the menu key, and both the window key and menu key are introduced by the Microsoft Natural Keyboard in 1994. So Microsoft has made lots of innovations. One of them is this ergonomic keyboard. There were ergonomic keyboards before, but they all failed. Also, Apple made an ergonomic keyboard, and Apple also failed miserably. Now this is an example where Apple is known for innovation. Apple has introduced tremendous number of innovations in personal computers since 1990. Okay, for example, the CD player, DVD player, USB, FireWire, they all first come on the Mac. Windows usually takes 3 or 5 years to catch up, to copy whatever Apple is doing. So anyway, Apple back in 1993, I believe, 1993, introduced this ergonomic keyboard, and it turned out is the worst crap. So Apple failed miserably here, but Microsoft, their keyboard caught on because it's actually well designed. It caught on. So we have to thank Microsoft for introducing the ergonomic keyboard concept into the wide population. So when they introduced this, they also introduced the Windows key and the menu key. And those, I wouldn't call them innovation. Those are not so good. Those two keys are not so good. Okay, that's about Microsoft. There are many versions over the past 20 years. The Microsoft Natural Keyboard. Okay, back to IBM ThinkPad. So you have launch keys, and there are also a few more changes. Then in 2011, IBM, there is more another version. They introduced, let me show you. Okay, you see the arrow keys on the lower right corner. They added 2 more extra keys. Those are browser backward and forward buttons. Like on your mouse, 5-button mouse, the thumb buttons, browser backward and forward. And they also introduced the sound volume up and down, and mute keys. Okay, I need to close the window because outside they are building shit. Okay, so what you guys, knob is excellent. Good to have options. Tap on the Mac boys. And yes, perfect for computers with several. Shit! Chrome just crashed again. Oh god. I'm not sure what's going on. Chrome has been crashing for the past few hours. What? Do I need to restart my machine? I don't know. If I restart, that's going to disrupt my live stream. So anyway, let's go back to the ThinkPad. So I'll just talk about some interesting points. Okay, so in 2011 there's a new version. Okay, so far so good. But in 2012, after almost like 20 years, exactly 20 years, they made a change to their keyboard again. Now by 2012, this is owned by Lenovo. And they made a change, and this change, they basically simplified the layout and design of the keyboard, and they simplified and modernized it, because so we are looking at the keyboard history actually. So there are a lot of changes you can see. For example, back then you don't have the Windows key, you don't have the menu key, but those are added on every keyboard now. But back then, around year 2000, you have this application launch keys. It's almost on every keyboard. but now that's gone again. Around late 2000, people stopped having those keys anymore. But then 2011, you see, I mean not 2000, in 2012 they redesigned, so it becomes looks like this. Now a lot IBM ThinkPad lovers, they hate, they complain, they bitch about it, they complain vociferously on the web, saying that it's going down the drain. But actually, this is actually a simplification. Most of the changes I would say is good. Some of them is bad. One of the very bad point is that they use the flat, they use so-called chiclet keys. I mean, the terminology chiclet keys is actually very confusing because to different people it means different things. But so how you call this, the proper way to call this is actually island keys, like islands. So now look at before, before 2010, laptop keyboards are like that, most of them. But now in 2012, they introduced this kind of, individual, each key is individual. I mean, not connected with the other. But one of the bad point, very bad, is that the key caps are flat. On the other hand, you see the old ones, the keycap tops are kind of dented. So flat is no good, because on the flat island keys, you cannot feel your position, your finger's position relative to the key. So that means often you hit the wrong key. You cannot feel. So that's very bad. And so they removed, the page up down key becomes, they come to here. Before it was on top. Anyways, so I'm not going to go over all the changes, but you can read the details, okay? And so why would I say this is a modernization of keyboard? Why? Because, for example, you have the pause key, you have the insert key, you have the scroll lock key. Now those keys has been kind of defunct since 1990s. Even back in 1990s, for most people, you don't even know what those keys do. You press them, nothing happens. So you need to change. So today, a lot of keyboards don't have those keys anymore. We'll come to see them, okay? But anyway, so IBM ThinkPad, Lenovo, they started to do that. They simply just remove those keys, and that is actually a good change. Okay, so that's a basic history of IBM ThinkPad keyboards. And if so the ThinkPad keyboard, there are a lot of fans. It's like a subculture. So if you want to buy it, you can actually buy it. Independent, external keyboard, you can actually buy it on Amazon. Now let me tell you, so the evolution of laptop keyboards, I'm going to tell you, over the past 30 years, the changes in laptop keyboards. Now comes in the Chromebook from Google, the Google empire that controls everything of every aspect of your life. Google Chromebook, introduced beginning in 2011. Google is saying it's time we introduce our own laptops with our own operating system. Screw Microsoft Windows, screw Apple, Apple Mac OS. Google is having their own Chrome OS, and they sell their own hardware. Well, so their own brand, okay? So Chromebook beginning in 2011. Now on the Chromebook keyboard, they drastically simplified the keyboard. They removed huge number of keys, drastically simplification. And in fact, in my opinion, this is actually a very good change. They rid of the 30 years of baggage of keys on the keyboard. They just throw them away. So what are the So let me go back to my live stream to see the comments. Okay, so questions, comments posted. Fuck. Google Chrome crashed again. Fuck. Okay, let me talk about Chromebook. Okay, Chromebook, you can see what? Okay, Chromebook. So what are the salient changes? First of all, you'll notice the Alt and Control keys are now humongous. No more window key, too complex. Windows Alt, Control, Shift Alt, menu key, too many of them. Good. No more. So, but instead you have a giant Alt and Control, and this is fantastic because Alt and Control you use often for keyboard shortcuts. Now they just make them big. Okay, so now it's easy to press. And the caps lock key, the pesky caps lock key is also good because that's not a useful key. Of course, they don't have the pause, scroll lock, and things like that. They don't have that anymore. And page up and down, good too, because in modern computing since about late 2000s, let's say 2010, you have a giant trackpad, multi-purpose trackpad, and multi-touch trackpad. So you can, if you want to scroll, you can just swipe it, swipe or swipe back or right to go backward and forward. So rid of the page up and down, and rid of lots of keys you don't actually need. And the function keys F1, F2, F3 is all gone too. Now some of these changes are not good for power users. What do you mean by power users? Like us, we programmers or those professionals doing photo editing, Photoshop, or video editors, they work in the industry for movie companies, for commercials. Commercials, they need someone to do video, edit videos. So they are a lot that that's a profession now. That's a new profession. So when you work with Photoshop or video editing software, you need tons of shortcuts. Not just that, you need special devices designed for doing Photoshop. You can see several here. Of course, there's also the input pen. For example, the jog wheel, the shutter wheel, this, for example, the tangent ripple. Okay, this is for grading panel. It's a specialization of video editing. And then you have the Sony video editing console, this complex console. Let's see if we can magnify. Well, the picture is too small. Okay, this is like a Star Trek console. You have trackpad, you have this throttle, or sliders, and you have 10,000 buttons. This. By the way, this keyboard showcases the idiocy of those who, those proponents of the proponents of those 40% keyboards. Those idiots, they want 40% keyboards, so everything is Control Alt something. So you imagine this Star Trek video console. You're gonna reduce these 1,000 keys into 40 keys. So you're gonna meta control Alt. Fuck, the fucking idiots. Those people who are into 40% keyboards, they oftentimes they tend to be fanatics. Because when you say something, you say, oh, 40% is actually not good. They'll go batshit. They'll say, oh, actually, you got 4 layers. I got 5 layers. This, that. They'll argue with you endlessly. So anyway, video editing, you can see some of the devices. Actually, when you do a lot of video editing, you need these devices, just like different tools. If you do math, you need a protractor, you need a compass, and so on. So these devices, for example, this one is designed for Photoshop. You have you have tons of wheels and knobs. Okay, you guys go buy them. Now let's go back to the laptop history, the history of laptops. We digressed into the why did we start to mention that? I forgot. But anyway, Chrome keyboards, okay, Chromebook keyboards, it's a great innovation. They reduced the keyboard complexity. So I was saying for programmers or power users, those professional computer users, some of this change is not that good, because for example they read up all the function keys. You don't have, instead by default you still have function keys, but they have a different purpose. You can actually change it by software. Anyway, Chromebook, okay, Chromebook is Chromebook. So back to the overview of the history of computer keyboards on the laptop. Chromebook is a major player. It's a major milestone in the change of keyboards, because once you have Chromebook is very popular because they sell it very cheap. Especially for moms and pops. They are not programmers. They are not professional computer users. They don't do Photoshop and so on, but a lot of people, mom and pop, they need a computer to search the web and so on. So Chromebook is designed for them. It's designed for them, running Google's apps. So that means there are actually a lot of people using it, actually including programmers, because this keyboard, this model Chromebook Pixel, is designed for programmers. It's got a huge screen, over $1,000. So Chromebook introduced this, drastically simplified keyboard to the masses, and what that means, it has influence to other people. So because once you use Chromebook for a while, for example, if you happen to be, if you happen to buy a Chromebook, or maybe your mom has it, you use it for a while, you get used to it. So that, for example, before this, you used to use the page up and down keys, but on Chromebook you don't have that. So you use, the trackpad and so on. But now, if you switch back to the traditional laptop, you'll notice that you kind of by habit you don't use the page up and down keys anymore. So that has influence. So that also influence your choice, what you're gonna choose for your next laptop or your keyboard that you want to buy. So Chromebook is a major innovation in the laptop history, the evolution of laptop. Okay, Chromebook. Now another major player is the Mac. Okay, Mac has always been like 10% of all computer users. Since 1990s, it's hovering around 10%. Today maybe a bit more, 15% or 20, but most people are Windows users. Anyway, Mac is also a major player in hardware. So back in 1993, you have these PowerBook Duo, very expensive back then. Okay, so 1993, but I'm going to look at some of the Mac keyboards. Okay, Mac keyboards. So on Mac, the Macintosh keyboard is quite a bit different from the PC keyboard. Okay, I have a page explaining that. Anyway, let's look at some of the Mac keyboards. So this one is from 2003. I have this laptop. I used this laptop for like 4 or 5 years, and it is this laptop. I've been using this laptop exclusively for like 4 years, typing on this every day since about 2002. This is when I got RSI, repetitive strain injury, because I was using a laptop all the time, like 8 hours a day. So I recommend, as a side point, do not use a laptop keyboard for long. You always want the external keyboard. But anyway, Apple's laptop. So you have this one. Then this one is from 2015. Now again, you can see a change. Kind of history across board. Back then you have these kind of keys. Each keys are adjacent to each other. Then you have the island style keys. So that's 2015. Then the latest, like today, you have these butterfly switches. No good. Okay, this is crap. Okay, Apple keyboard. So what I want to mention about Apple keyboard is that on Apple laptop keyboards, you never had page up and down keys. Never. You don't have physical page up and down keys. Let's check this one. Let's check this 1993. Do they have physical page up and down? I don't have a picture. No, they don't. Yeah, so on Apple keyboards, you never had physical page up. Okay, that's about Apple. But now back to, let me finish the topic of evolution of laptop keyboards. We are not done yet because there is quite a few innovations by Microsoft. Okay, I'm gonna talk about it. Let's go to this article, the evolution of laptop keyboards. Now my Chrome crashed again. Let's reopen Chrome so I can see the comments. Fucking Chrome, the modern technology. It seems funny because this crashing stuff, browser crashing or bugs or this this or that, it's been with us since 1990. In 1990s, today's the CPU, the GPU, the memory, whatever is like 100 times better than before. But however, this crashing every day is still with us every day. Like, we have bugs and problems. Would it be nice? I mean, why don't we have a situation? I mean, the programming, computers has been progressing for 30, 20, 30, 40, years. How come to this day we still have this fucking crashing problem? Like back in 1990s, things crash, and on Windows crash, on Linux, on Unix, they also crash. Okay. So you have after 10 years, after 20 years, after 30 years, you still have the crashing problem. So this seems to be a puzzle. Okay, how come how come we don't have a situation after all these progresses? How come we can just a poor sob like me, why can't I just use a computer without all the fucking crash? I don't want fancy GPU or video graphics card, the NVIDIA whatever jargon fuck. I just want a computer that just runs basic stuff, then don't crash. It seems it's not happening. Okay, and I have thought about this for quite a while. I can tell you why. This happens because it's kind of a side effect of capitalism. Well, it's a side effect of competitiveness of the corporations. Why? Well, in other parts, you could say it's so why does it happen? Because suppose I build a computer. Suppose I create a company. I build a computer or operating system where my system is very solid and basic. I don't want fancy bleeding heart features. No bleeding heart features like USB 4, USB 10, whatever just came out. So my computer don't have those features, but however, it's solid. It never crashes. It doesn't change much. So if I create that computer, the problem is nobody will buy it. Why? Not because people won't like it better, not because people do not prefer it, but rather because the marketing because all these other companies, Microsoft, Apple, and Google, they have a marketing department. On the marketing marketing department, they will have lots of tons of clickbaits. They will tell you, oh, actually, you should use USB 10. USB 10 because it gives you that feature. It saves your life. Okay. And so they put billions of dollars to advertisements. So for most people, they are not computer professionals. They have no idea. They just see, oh, this one's got USB 10. It will save my life. So they're gonna buy that instead of buying my superior, solid, no bullshit computer. So corporations, they compete. So that is why to this day you don't have you still have crash problems, because the crash problems nobody knows. It's not like when they buy, when it crashes, these companies have license, user agreement license fax that tells you they don't even guarantee the computer works. Okay. That's actually part of the user agreement. Okay, Google Chrome is just crashed again when I just wanted to look at the comments and it just crashed. Okay, let me continue talking about the keyboard evolution then. Fuck the crash. And we'll be done today in 10 minutes. How long I've been talking? In probably 10 minutes or 20. So I'm going to tell. So we have ThinkPad, we have Google Chrome keyboards. Now around year 2000, there's more changes about laptop keyboards, but I don't have good pictures of it. But anyway, let me just skip to some of the interesting things. Okay, so we are looking at 2012 to laptop keyboards. This one is from Asus. Okay, Taiwan. From Taiwan or China. They are taking over USA. So this one, Dell Inspiron, Dell. Okay, so Dell, the made in USA, actually is not made in USA, but Dell USA company. So back in around year 2000s, you begin to have laptop keyboards that includes a number pad on it. You don't have number pad before because in the 1990s, the laptop is small. The LCD screen, it's expensive. But now you have bigger LCD screens. So now you started to have the number pad on laptop back then. Today, I think there's a trend to not have the number pad anymore. For example, look at Apple keyboards, Apple's laptops, or Google Chrome's laptops. They don't have number pad, so that kind of influenced the industrial design. But anyway, so let me talk about Microsoft keyboards. So Microsoft introduced their own laptop, the Microsoft Surface Book, in 2016, and there is also innovation there. Now this is subtle. Okay, this is subtle innovation you don't see. Now let me tell you one thing. Okay, when you you are looking at the Microsoft Surface Book laptop. So can you see what's the difference? I mean, why is there? Why would I say there's a big innovation? You have to observe carefully. Now you see the slanted arrangement. You look at the columns, right? They are slanted like usual. Okay, but okay, I'm just gonna say it. They have less slant than the traditional configuration. So you look at for example, you look at the number 1 key on the number row. Okay, now you look at the Q key. Now you can see the number 1 is about 1/4 to the left of Q. Okay, and Q is about 1/5 to the left of A. And A is 1/2, more than 1/2 to the left of Z. So that's their stagger. You call that stagger layout. But now you look back at the traditional. For example, this Dell Inspiron keyboard traditional layout. You see, the number 1 is to the half key space of Q. On the other hand, let's look at Microsoft again. The number 1 is 1/4 to the left of Q. So you see, this is subtle change, but this is a great change because why do you have this kind of layout in the first place? Because that came from typewriters, okay? Because typewriters 200 years ago, you have to have that because why are the keys, the columns are aligned in such a weird, almost like half semi-slant way? Because they need the bars beneath the keys to be equally distributed. Look at this picture. You see, all the metal bars beneath them are equal distant. In order to do that, you have to slant the keys. That's why. So Microsoft, they subtly, they almost like secretly, they are trying to remove this slant, which is a great thing because this is a movement. This is a move towards ergonomic layout. For example, as you know, many ergonomic keyboards today, you have a matrix layout. You don't have that slant anymore. You have a grid, just a vertical and horizontal lines. For example, you can see many examples here, and and here, just a grid. For example, there are many examples. Just a grid. You don't want that 200 years old baggage. That's baggage from 200 years. So that's a giant innovation of Microsoft. Okay, that's one thing. What about other things? There are a few other things. Okay. For example, they also removed. There's no more pause key. There's no more scroll lock key, and there's no more number lock key. They removed that. So anyway, so Microsoft, great innovation of keyboards. Okay, so I think that's about it for today. Chrome keeps crashing. Now let me read some comments. Shit, it crashed again. Fuck. Okay, I don't know why is it crashing. Maybe I stop. Okay, maybe I stop my other applications. Maybe that'll stop Chrome from crashing. And that's about it for today. I don't want to save it. This fucking idiotic text edit. Okay, let's start Chrome one more time. And that's about it for today. And you go to my keyboard blog. You go buy keyboards from my website. You buy Amazon, or you patron, donate me and stuff. Okay, you buy my Emacs tutorial, Emacs Lisp tutorial, and my JavaScript in-depth tutorial. That is actually my best tutorial. Okay, let me try one more time to read the comments and answer them. And if Chrome keeps crashing, then that'll be it for today. So Alan says, if it did, it would be your fault. What? I'm afraid to scroll because once I scroll, Chrome is gonna crash. So Scott says, hey, good morning, Scott. Scott says, agreeing with Alan, but I'm watching from Arc Linux, but only because I know that Xali thinks of Linux in general. Okay, Paul Edward. Hey, Paul Edward. Paul Edward, are you the guy who is studying homotopy type theory? You are correct, Alan. No crashes for me running Arc. Take a short. Okay. What? Asus needs to take over more. I like their stuff. Most of my MacBook and laptops, most of my MB and laptops are from Asus. Alan says, I like on the ThinkPad how they treated the arrows. They didn't smash them so small. Right, yeah. and they made up. Okay, so yeah, Apple. Apple, the idiocy of Apple. Let's talk about this Apple thing. Okay. Now, if I crash again, that'll probably be it for today. How long have I been talking now? It's about hour. There it is. It just crashed. Okay, that's it for today. I'm gonna tell you about Apple. Apple is going down. Apple is going downhill. Because why? Because Steve Jobs died. Steve Jobs died about 10 years ago. And Apple is trying to follow up Steve Jobs' footsteps of innovation. But what they came up is crap. It's the most idiotic crap Apple since these days. So let me tell you about Apple. Okay, so I have a page about Apple keyboards history, or Apple's keyboards. And I'm going to tell you, okay, it's not here. I want to tell you Apple design, okay, the most idiotic Apple thing. Yeah, the touch bar. Okay, hold on a second. Let's go here. Let's go to design. Now these articles are about design. And let's show you some of the Apple's stuff, Apple design. So Apple in 2016, they came out with a new technology, the touch bar, the most idiotic fuck. And they think it's innovation, and they made several commercials you can watch. It's all pretty. Apple is great at marketing. They made a lot, with video, with music video, very attractive commercials. They trying to wash your brain. But the product, when Steve Jobs, he's a great innovator. He's a great thinker. He's also one of the greatest salesmen. It's part of his skill. But however, he is indeed a great thinker and entrepreneur, to be sure too, because entrepreneur means you need to have the ability to start a business. He has that ability. But anyway, he's also a great thinker. He look at what people need and he creates them, and basically start a evolution. He began, for example, so many things. Online music business. You can buy songs online. You can stream. He began that. Because before that, people are just stealing, just Napster. People are just rip CDs, stealing. Then you have the open source fuckheads with their Pirate Bay, like by day they are ethical, we are open source. By night they are the pirating guys, saying that all info must be free, things like that. And anyway, so the Steve Jobs, he see the situation. People wants to buy music, but however, then the giant music companies are just trying to sue people, trying to chase those, pirates. But in fact, what you should have is a online streaming service, or where people can buy songs digitally. That's because time has changed. Steve Jobs created that market entirely. And also he created iPad. People needs to listen to music, so you have iPad and so on. iPod, not iPad. So anyways, a huge number of innovations by Steve Jobs, but he passed away, so he died. Then Apple, the idiotic fuck Apple people. Today you have this guy, okay? He they created the touch bar, the most idiotic thing, touch bar. And the Mac fanatics, even the Mac fanatics hates them. Okay, so that's one of the idiocy of Apple designs, and there's quite a few. Okay, then you have the dongle hell. well known dongle hell. Because why? Because Apple, this is interesting because Apple has always been innovative, right? They always use the latest, the superior technology for interconnectivity, connecting your peripherals or your internet. They have the latest wires, ports. But however, when you do, you have to do that in a reasonable way. You cannot go extreme. But Apple, has been trying, they've been doing that to the extreme, so that, the thing about that is that it's not just about innovation anymore. Why? Because when they push these new ports, they are actually, they sell these dongles. Each one is like $30 or more, which is like 2 or 3 times more expensive than the standard ones. So they make huge amount of money on these dongles. So it's not just about innovation, but half of the equation is about how can we squeeze more money from Apple stuff. So that's what Apple has been doing. Dongles hell. And they come up with this thing, this mouse charger at the bottom of the mouse, and and this pen. What the fucking kind of idiot created this? Apple. This is a huge insult to Steve Jobs, but Apple is doing that. And also they come up with these butterfly key switches, and they market it as the thinnest possible. So what has Apple become? It's these are not Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs will never do things like this touch bar or this thin keyboard. Because they are actually not practical. Because Steve Jobs will see this is crap. This is just like, let's use technology progress for technology's sake. Whatever new technology, let's put it in and let's sell it. That's what these things are. This touch bar and these butterfly key switches breaks all the time, and you cannot replace them. Why? Because Apple decided to do that so that when something is broken, you have to buy a new laptop, MacBook. That's why. And we have this director or actor. He's flaming Apple keyboards. And you have this situation, one keyboards. Okay, that's it for today. I cannot, Google Chrome is crashing all the time. So thank you guys for watching. Bye, guys. I'm shutting down, and let's look at the comments one last time. Yeah, the technology in search of a problem. That's right. That's a standard saying. The technology, Silicon Valley technology in search of a problem. So Dark Op, what are you guys with these names? Says, will you switch to ThinkPad or not? I don't know. I'm not in a market for a laptop. Maybe, but I don't think I'll buy a ThinkPad. Why? Because I think ThinkPad, the quality has degraded a lot. It's not like the IBM ThinkPad anymore. But also today is the landscape changed because there are so many technology. There are so many different type of laptops now. There's also gaming laptop. There's also touchpad. There's also flip-flop laptops. So there are so many different So I don't think I'll, if I want to buy, I'm going to get a ThinkPad. So why is the right side ortho and left slanted idiocy? What do you mean? Well, because what. So the question is that why do you want it slanted? Okay, that's it for today. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.